The hidden passions of Native American women: desire, dominance, and forbidden love. The sexual lives of Native American women were shaped by their culture, traditions, and, at times, their rebellion against societal expectations. While many indigenous societies embraced open expressions of sexuality, female desire was often a complex, layered aspect of life, one that included intense passion, secret affairs, dominance, and even same-sex relationships that thrived in the shadows of the past. Exploring the sexual lives of Native American women reveals a world of passion, dominance, and desire that was both deeply rooted in cultural traditions and unrestrained by the rigid moral codes of European society. Unlike the restrictive norms imposed by settlers, many indigenous tribes embrace sexuality as a natural and essential part of life, one tied to spiritual power, personal freedom, and, at times, the dangerous thrill of forbidden encounters. In many Native American tribes, women were not merely submissive wives and mothers, they were sexual beings with desires, choices, and the authority to act on their passions. Unlike the puritanical standards introduced by European settlers, indigenous women often had the freedom to explore sex before marriage, take multiple lovers, and even leave husbands who no longer satisfied them. Among the Lakota and Blackfoot tribes, young women were encouraged to take lovers before committing to marriage. It was not uncommon for a woman to share nights of passion with several partners, testing their skills and endurance before deciding who was worthy of her affection. Some women became known for their ability to outlast their lovers in the teepee, challenging warriors to prove their stamina before they could win her heart. Women were not expected to be passive in their encounters. They were skilled in the art of seduction, learning techniques to maximize pleasure and heighten intimacy. Older women, known as wisdom keepers, would pass down knowledge of how to touch, how to move, and how to control the rhythm of their encounters to ensure both she and her partner reached the peak of pleasure. In some tribes, such as the Hopi and Zuni, sex was viewed as a sacred act, one that could bring about visions and spiritual awakening. Certain women were seen as priestesses of pleasure, using their bodies to guide warriors into transcendence through the height of ecstasy. Though often overlooked by history, same-sex relationships between Native American women were common and, in many cases, accepted within tribal societies. In several tribes, there were women who openly took other women as lovers, forming deep and passionate relationships that often surpassed the fleeting connections with men. Among the Ojibwe and Cheyenne, women sometimes lived together as bonded partners, sharing a home, raising children, and engaging in a physical and emotional intimacy that rivaled traditional marriages. These relationships were often kept discreet, but were widely understood within the tribe. In the Navajo and Apache cultures, two-spirit women, those who embodied both masculine and feminine qualities, were respected as healers, warriors, and lovers. Many of these women took on traditionally male roles, wielding weapons in battle while also claiming female lovers in the secrecy of their lodges. There were also women who engaged in passionate affairs while their husbands were away hunting or raiding rival tribes. These encounters took place in the shadows of the village, beneath the cover of darkness, as bodies intertwined in a fevered rush of desire. Sometimes these love affairs were more than just physical. They were escapes from the constraints of marriage, a chance to indulge in forbidden pleasures that could never be spoken of aloud. One recorded instance comes from the journals of early French explorers, who noted that some indigenous women preferred the company of other women and would often meet in secret, stealing moments of intimacy away from prying eyes. They whispered soft words, hands exploring familiar curves, lips trailing down each other's bodies in ways no man had ever dared. In many tribes, women held sexual power over men, turning the act of seduction into a game of dominance. While European settlers saw Native women as passive or subservient, the reality was quite different. Many indigenous women dictated the terms of their encounters, making men earn their pleasure. The Iroquois women, known for their strong-willed nature, often put potential lovers through trials of endurance. A woman might demand a man prove his worth by running long distances, hunting a difficult prey, or even fighting a rival for her affection. Only after proving himself would she allow him into her bed, where she would take control, teaching him how to pleasure her according to her desires. Among the Comanche, certain women gained reputations as seductresses, taking younger men as lovers and teaching them the secrets of prolonged pleasure. These women were powerful, feared by weaker men who could not handle their intensity. They had no shame in seeking multiple partners, and some even kept boy toys within the village, using them solely for satisfaction before discarding them when they grew tired of their touch. In some tribes, women even used sex as a form of manipulation. The Hopi and Pawnee were known for stories of women who seduced rival warriors, drawing them into moments of lust before betraying them. Some women used their bodies to lure enemy fighters into ambushes, ensuring their tribe's victory in battle. Sex was more than just an act of pleasure, it was power, strategy, and dominance, and the most skilled women knew how to use it to their advantage. Unlike European cultures that condemned women for seeking sexual satisfaction outside of marriage, many Native American societies allowed women the right to choose their lovers even after they were wed. In the Cherokee Nation, divorce was simple. If a woman grew tired of her husband, she would gather his belongings and throw them outside, signaling that the marriage was over. There were no lengthy legal proceedings, no shameful labels placed upon her. She was free to pursue another lover as she pleased. In the Apache and Comanche tribes, infidelity was not always punished. While open affairs could cause tension, secret lovers were often tolerated. Some women sought out younger, more virile men when their husbands no longer satisfied them, sneaking off into the woods or meeting in secluded parts of the village for stolen moments of passion. Among the Blackfoot, a woman's sexual satisfaction was seen as crucial for the harmony of the tribe. If a husband failed to please his wife, she had every right to take another man to bed. Some tribes even had ceremonies in which women were allowed to openly select new partners if they were unhappy with their current ones. However, not all acts of infidelity were without consequence. Among the Apache, a woman caught in an affair might have her head shaved as punishment, or in extreme cases, she could be banished. But despite these risks, many women still followed their desires, defying the rules in pursuit of the pleasure they craved. The sexual lives of Native American women were far more complex and liberated than history often portrays. They were not merely objects of desire, but active participants in their own pleasure, choosing their lovers, dominating their partners, and embracing the full spectrum of their desires. They took other women to their beds when the need arose, they left husbands who no longer satisfied them, and they seduced warriors with a look, a whisper, a slow and knowing touch. Though much of this history has been buried beneath colonial shame, the truth lingers in the stories passed down through generations, stories of passion, of dominance, of pleasure unrestrained by the limits of morality imposed by outsiders. Native American women were fierce, sensual, and unafraid of their own power. And in their beds, in their whispered encounters, in the heat of their forbidden desires, they carved out a legacy of sexual freedom that remains one of the great untold stories of history. I hope you found the details of this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did. You, mysterious, curious, intellectual, disturbed, beautiful people. My name is Penny Flick, with Kreep-ish. I look forward to sharing more of these stories that captivate and intrigue our minds, which can challenge our way of thinking. Comment on your thoughts below as I continue to uncover the mysteries of our history, true crime, paranormal, conspiracy, and cringe-worthy, creepy content. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember that the truth is often stranger than fiction.